Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the TechKnowledgy Show, where our experts translate geek into regular speak. How do you feel about mixed reality versus virtual reality? And what are your thoughts? Gadgets or games? And where exactly are you on the battlefield of Windows versus Apple? Stay tuned for our special geek guests. And now, it's over to our TechSperts.
It is the TechKnowledgy Show, where we translate geek
into regular speak.
Now it is every week. Well, soon will be not every week when we go into another little sabbatical. But hey, what's up?
A lot.
I'm just sitting here bouncing, man.
I know.
You know where we should be now, right?
I do. We should be sitting there. Was it Barcelona?
In Barcelona, see.
Yeah.
Yes, we should be in Barcelona. And even though we did reference it last week, did you get an email from Angela saying we're going to Barcelona next year? Because I didn't see mine.
I didn't yet.
I'm hinting again, Angela. TechKnowledgy with a K, where we translate geek into regular speak every week from Barcelona, please. 2020.
Coming soon.
In fact, now might actually be a good time to talk about our sponsorship, because Alcatel's been giving away phones. I can tell you now that the person that we deal with, David, is sitting in Barcelona. David, I really think that for next year, if we continue this relationship with you, and thank you again for the sponsorship of donating some phones and some handsets, I believe there could be more coming as well. Alcatel ones are up for grabs, so please carry on like you have been. Follow, listen, like, share, post, win. But I really, really do think we should be flown to Barcelona next year to do the show from there. Just #say. Boom, done.
I think so. And because we are on our regular schedule, I would like to bring us straight into App of the Week.
Okay, so this time we are doing an app, not a beta.
No.
And this one is an iOS and Android app.
It is.
Okay. So the app of the week, I don't know how you would pronounce it, but I say Liven. I don't know. Liven?
I'd probably say Liven.
Liven.
Yeah, because you're living large.
Oh, wait. There we go. Liven large. Okay, so Liven, potato. Why did I choose the app? Okay, very simple. Aryeh loves food. Aryeh takes pictures of food all the time. If you see him on his Instagram picture, it's either spiders to piss me off, or plants, or food. And lately, very much food and spiders. So that doesn't have anything to do with Liven. Liven is basically an app where you can find restaurants that are nearby, see some of the pictures of the restaurants, look it up by genre. But the thing that really differentiates it from a lot of the other ones that are out there is the fact that you can link a payment system, so your credit card, and then you can pay, and you pay seamlessly in store. So I need to actually tell you the story about how I found it. I was in Town Hall Station, and you know when you come out of the gates that take you into the Town Hall like passageway, the shopping centre. Yep. There's a Cocoa Time tea place there. The Cocoa tea, the tea with the bubbles, the little balls.
Totally. Boba Nai Cha.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
I'll have what he's having. Now, I've never had one of those before, okay, because most of the time I don't actually know what it is. It's like it says it's made from honey and da-da-da.
Did you have one?
So this is what happened.
Okay.
Right? There was a Liven sign there that says, we'll shout you a cocoa tea. Just download our app. So I'm like, who's going to turn down a free tea, right? So I downloaded the app. Now, every time you and I have spoken about apps, the biggest barrier to entry of any marketing is to download the app. Not only did I download the app, I had to link my credit card details to it. So they're now making sure that there's going to be a call to action. So they got the download, they got the first action, which is what all app developers are looking for. And I went and I said to the lady, okay, I've got this voucher. I'd like to get and she goes, which one? So now I'm staring at the board, having a clue. So I said, okay, which is the most popular one? And that's what I got. It had like these little ball things in it, and it was like a honey, milky, flavory thing. It was actually really nice. It was refreshing as hell.
It's a great drink.
It was awesome. I found the balls a little bit much, like I'm sucking through the straw, and next minute I get zapped in the uvula.
Totally.
How's that for medical terminology?
Uvula.
In the uvula.
They're like shooting to the back. Your uvula's a little thing that hangs down, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So it's like playing ping pong with your uvula. It's like ding,
When you chew on them, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
no.
weird consistency, but like,
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole experience was weird. But that's not about the app. That's about cocoa tea. But yeah, you just tell them the number that you're paying with. It's linked, it's paid, but you earn rewards. So I've already got about $2 worth of credits that I can now use anywhere where they accept Liven. Now, unlike any other reward, when you earn points or miles or whatever, you can only redeem them at that outlet. So like Oporto, GYG, they all have their own loyalty accounts. You spend money there, you get currency, and you convert it. With Liven, you'll be able to use that Liven dollar, or whatever they call it, token, anywhere. So another change, like loyalty that can be used anywhere through its partner network.
Yep.
Seamless. UI is really nice. So I wish them luck. I hope they do what they're hoping to do.
So on the back end, and this is where some technology comes in.
I have
Liven.
such FOMO. I've just had a ping come through about Mobile World Congress. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that now.
No,
we'll talk about that next show.
No.
Okay.
So Liven is blockchain backed.
Yes.
It's using cryptocurrency.
Yes.
So they launched
That's their token.
a
That's
token
right.
offering, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so people are like, well, what is blockchain? How does cryptocurrency work? This is not.
That's not that evil Bitcoin-y stuff.
No, this isn't Bitcoin. It's built on Ethereum, and so when you are putting your credit card into the system and you're buying, you're making payments based on that, it's transferring into Ethereum, and which is backing their token, and then their token has a value, and then that value stays in the app itself. So the way that they're funding their business is that they've sold tokens and people invested in the tokens. LVN is the trade.
That's the trading
coin, right?
Yeah, that's the coin.
And then what I'm wondering is, if it's pegged to the value of Ethereum, because their ICO was only worth half of what it went in.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, Ethereum lost 50% of its value in January.
Yeah.
So they were raising $1.25 billion. They actually only raised around $565 million. Now, how that affects everyone involved in the ecosystem, those $2 that you have in your account right now that are saved, if Ethereum drops, does that mean your $2 value drops?
No, because it's actually showing
right?
as the Australian dollar sign.
Yeah.
It does show the token being 1 Liven equals Australian dollar 0. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Aryeh, well, this is actually
This is
we're
the
going to actually have to
question,
tag
right?
them,
So-
because if I look at my summary screen, so if anyone downloads the app, you'll see where I am now. I'm in my wallet.
Yep.
Okay. So it says there very clearly, LVN coin balance is 104.50. So I have 104.5 Liven coins. That is Australia dollars 2.09, okay, and 1 Liven equals Australian dollars 0.02. You're 100% right. If it's token backed and Ethereum tanks again, I lose $1.
It should go down in theory.
In
It
theory,
should. Or if in the flip side, if it just like suddenly everyone realizes that Ethereum is actually pretty stable and platforms like Liven are there, and Futoku,
it could go up.
which you already reviewed as well,
Yeah.
Futoku is also token based on Ethereum. I do have to give a shout out to Gracie Wong and William Wong, the co-founders. Job well done. This is a fantastic app, and
It is a nice app. Huh? It looks good. It flows, and you see the notifications as well. So
Totally.
like it. And have you seen the discounts? Sorry, that was the thing I left off as well.
Totally.
So not only did I get a free cocoa tea, I hope I'm giving them the right name here.
Cocoa tea. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
But I now can also go back and have another one for like 40% off, because there's a call to action there.
Yep.
So, we're gonna have to tag them
Totally.
and have to ask it, because that's actually a very good. Because what you're saying effectively is I could be rewarded double now if it goes up again, but I could also. So do I hold on to my Liven, or do I spend them really quickly while I've still got $2?
Well, here's what to do.
What
because
to do?
right now they're offering $5 of free food for every friend that you bring
You
in and
refer.
refer.
Yeah.
So get with your friends, figure out the circle, and get everyone friendly so you can each refer like 5 people that don't have it. Or do a little chain down kind of a thing. So like get your parents on, get your
Cash in
brothers
and then
sisters
cash
on.
out.
Well, cash in, get some free food, but like, you're spending, you're earning points. Where Liven wins with the loyalty platform is that it's really focusing on food, drinks, and that kind of area. They've got a ton of restaurants already signed up in Melbourne and Sydney. And where they're doing the big win, where the likes of Messina, which have a fantastic loyalty app,
Yep.
but they're only Messina.
Correct. And that's what I liked about this, is it
Why
just
wouldn't you
moves
want
it
to use
across.
points? Exactly. And it's token based. And where this becomes very interesting, we spoke about Volo a couple of weeks ago. They're launching their own Discoverium token-based platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're looking at doing something similar, but in the tourism space, where when you go to a guest house, instead of paying for just cash straight or paying an OTA, an online travel, was it OTA? Online travel?
Online, I don't know.
Those guys, the big guys, Expedia or Priceline in the US, these guys. Instead of paying them and getting 40% of the commission going straight to those guys, pay in a token directly to the guest house or to the tour operator or to the snack shop or whatever, and create that value exchange where it's still pegged to a currency, but it's almost like a barter system using not cash.
Yeah. You've made me worried now that I'm about to lose $2. I've got two things to worry about for the whole show. I'm missing out on Mobile World Congress, and I'm about to lose my whole $2. But look, it's the app of the week. We are moving into cashless. We're looking at tap and pay. We're looking to fix it. I mean, you asked a question earlier. Why not just a QR code and transfer it across? The way these guys are set up, I think they could incorporate anything. If it's Ethereum backed, there would be a QR code technology in it already, because you can bring up your address in QR. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing it moving out of food and into retail, as in like clothing, FMCG.
Why not?
Because you'd be able to earn wherever you go, and then they become a digital bank.
Absolutely.
Like all these other guys. Just speaking of, I have to digress. Xinja, Xinja,
yep,
the digital bank. They've gone to their second crowdfunding, and they are 300 times oversubscribed in this crowdfunding period. So it's just telling you that Aussies have had enough of the banks. I mean, that's a huge oversubscription.
Yeah.
So the digital bank environment is... Now you missed the bell. What did you want to hit? No.
When we get to things,
okay,
I've got news to share.
Hey, it's Things with a Z.
Things with a Z. Z.
It's probably the most seamless integration. We've gone from one to the other, transition rather. I'm giving it to you straight away. You wanted to carry on, go for it.
I did it.
You did it. What, Nike?
No. I bought a Dex.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, hold on 1 second. How did we get from an innovative digital bank oversubscribing and crowdfunding to, when we get to Things, I did it? Just like, I need to get inside. In fact, can we get our guests back from last week? You know them pretty well, your parents.
Yeah.
Can we stick you into their system and just shift where you are?
Totally. No. Yeah, we've been talking about Dex for...
Yes, we have. So you bought it.
6 months. And
please explain to people what Dex is, because
Dex is
only
Samsung's,
3 people have a Samsung.
So the Samsung top line phones, Note 8, S8, S8 Plus, S9, S9 Plus, and the Note 9, all have a feature where you plug it into a dock. And for the Note 9, you can actually just plug a USB cord, HDMI to USB directly in the back of the phone, and it will create a PC-like experience. Now, there are certain apps that have been optimized for the full screen that are powered by the phone, such as all the Samsung apps, all the Google apps, Chrome, and the Microsoft Office suite. And what put me over the line is I plugged my phone in at the Samsung store, took a mouse, and was playing around in PowerPoint, and it was as fast and as smooth, nearly as smooth as a PC experience. And so instead of carrying my laptop to and from the office every day so I can work on a PowerPoint for 15 minutes, I'd rather have my screen set up at home, plug in the HDMI cord into the Dex station, put my phone on, and work on it from there.
And
that's it.
No, and have you done that yet?
Oh, no, I just ordered it.
So you don't have it yet, mind you.
No.
Okay, so for the listeners,
I did play with it. I don't have it.
Every time that Ari and I ever walk past a Samsung shop or a shop that has Samsung tech, we've had to go in and we've had to look at the Dex. And we've walked out and he's going, should I do it, man? Should I do it? No, should I do it, man? Should I do it? And I'm like, just do it. So you did it.
I did it.
You're well done.
Yeah.
So you've ordered it, though. You don't have it.
I've ordered it. Yes,
okay, so you have to review it then for us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here we go again. Another biased anti-Apple review in the future. Did I tell you that I'm feeling very FOMO at this moment in time? I actually need to turn Twitter off because feeds are coming through and what they're doing. And I promised myself I wasn't going to discuss it on the show. And I'm going to save for next week's show because you know that Thingz is actually going to be called Screens because we're talking MWC next week.
Yep.
So don't miss that show. I am doing my dodgery-do of back out in full force. And I know I'm not talking about the police in Bondi that are hitting people for jaywalking. I talk about this every few months, and I need to talk about it again because it seems to be a wave of it starting again. And this is the scamming that's happening online. Like Facebook selling and things that are the dodgy deals.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you an example of what's going on at the moment, and why I felt it prudent to bring it up. So the problem with the internet is that as good as it is, it has the propensity to have evil as well. I mean, there's been reports on 60 Minutes and just people being scammed left, right, and center. I was watching a show, I think, last week. It was 60 Minutes or Current Affair, whatever comes in after the news. This lady's been battling for 9 months to get her Instagram account back. It got hacked. And, you try and reach out to people and they don't care and all blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can't actually phone Instagram or Facebook. You've just got to go through the pain. But that's not the scamming I'm talking about now. So I'm looking for a new computer. So you go online and you search. And then Facebook has the marketplace, right? So I had a look at the marketplace. And there was a guy selling a MacBook Pro with touch bar, the 256 gig model, 8 gigs of RAM for $1,500, brand new. It's impossible. So first of all, and I'm telling you the story because it is impossible, Apple doesn't supply it at that price. It's a $3,000 laptop. It's $2,899. There is no way in hell anyone can sell it for that price. But me being me and wanting to have fun, it's Messenger now. Once you go through Facebook Market, you go into Messenger.
Yeah.
Hi, is this still available? Yes, limited stock. Do you want to do a deal? So straight away they're hardballing. So I'm like, cool, do you have a store? Now, if you've used Marketplace, it shows you where the seller is. And the seller says near Sydney.
I was going to say Lithuania or something.
No, it says near Sydney, and it says protecting the seller's details. Now, the reason it's doing that is because I'm in Sydney. So it's obviously advertising in the marketplace and I'm it. So I said, do you have a physical store? Yes, in Perth. So we have a physical store in Perth, or we can ship like we do for all of our other happy customers. Guys, warning number 2. Advertised in Sydney, now all of a sudden the store's in Perth. The name should have given it away as well, the Labara mobile store. Labara is a very famous virtual mobile network. They wouldn't be selling MacBook Pros for $1,500, but I carried on because I do like to do that because I have content for our show. So I said, okay, so I'm not going to buy something I can't see. And voila, photographs come through. Where they got it wrong is they sent me 4 photographs. They said, we're about to send out stock. Here's all of our stock we're going out. We could include your order. Want to buy? So again, that hard sell. The one picture showing iPhones and there's invoices wrapped around them. So I zoom in. Now, the last time I checked, Michigan was in the United States. I don't know, I might be wrong. And especially seeing the phone number look like a Michigan phone number. And I know that because I've done business with people in Michigan. So please tell me why someone in Michigan, the land of where Apple's the cheapest in the world, would be buying from Perth, okay, and shipping it all the way back there. So guys, long story short, it's radio, we have to talk anyway. Please, if it sounds too good to be true, or the deal's just really, really sounds good, I'm 99.99% sure it's fake. It's just, they're just going to take your cash. And you will not get it back from your credit card companies.
Yeah.
And you will not get it back from Facebook, Instagram, Shopify, blah, 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 blah.
No.
Yeah. So you got to be careful out there. Like, do your research, right? Like, don't just, because you want something so badly, like Aryeh and his decks. I hope you got a good deal, by the way, because it's taken you freaking long enough to get this thing.
There was one on the show.
Yeah.
There's one on Marketplace for $50 unboxed.
There was one I sent you.
Never used, right?
Yeah.
It was $75 free shipping from Kogan.
Okay.
So
go brand new.
Just go brand new and get it done, yeah.
That's the other thing as well, right? When you're buying hardware, like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with secondhand hardware, But computers and phones, these have you haven't seen how they've charged
You
them.
don't know, yeah.
You don't know if the drive hit a virus and they had to format it, and so just like
Did it drop from 6 feet like my Surface?
correct.
Yeah.
Your Surface is still fine, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there might have been damage there.
Absolutely.
We don't know.
Totally.
So just sometimes maybe the rule of thumb is if you can't afford it and there isn't a financing option like Afterpay or one of these things, then don't do it. Just like you can't buy it. Simple.
Totally.
But don't fall for the traps, please.
So my little bit of news, which is maybe why Russia is doing this, is that they're building their own internet to disconnect from the world.
Oh.
And so it's more around security and how content is accessed. So firewalls,
so that America can't get them back on their
VPNs.
next election.
Dude, they know exactly what's up, man.
Yeah.
Whether or not they did what everyone thinks they did or didn't in the U.S. elections, etc., and tampering with the U.S. electricity grid. I heard on another podcast, that they could flip a switch and turn off the entire U.S. electricity grid. And it would take up to 2 to 3 hours to fix that. The entire U.S. without electricity. The concern was that it was going to turn off during some major event like the Super Bowl, which apparently was sleepy boring a few weeks ago. But
the adverts were good.
That's
the only thing I watch.
Right. Well, that's another bit of news is TiVo had a skip the game function where you could just skip directly to the adverts. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Look, what those guys pay for those adverts.
Yeah.
I think it's a couple of million a minute.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's just go back to that because I didn't come across that article and that scares the hell out of me. They're literally building a wall again. So the Iron Curtain of the 50s and 60s, these guys are going to do again. If they can find a way to stop VPN technology working, they will isolate every Russian citizen from the rest of the world. Just like that.
North Korea,
exactly.
China. I mean, that's what they're doing, right?
How can that be allowed? How would the UN even allow that, though? You're enslaving people. That's what you're doing.
But I think it can be allowed because the way that the U.S. has been backtracking and backpedaling out of any kind of responsibility in being that sort of gatekeeper or watchdog over the rest of the world. That's it. There is no watchdog, and the UN is a bit spineless. I'm sorry. I don't have a political stance, but from my objective view, Russia's been able to do whatever it wants, and that's
scary, right?
Totally scary. Like the missiles they're building right now, and they're not whatever against a missile treaty. Like I'm not a missile expert, but it sounds to me like you're kind of trying to advance warfare as opposed to stop it. So that's another one. Pull the people out. They can't see what's going on. They can't rebel. They can't.
Because at least in China, and let's be honest, the Chinese government are not stupid.
Nah.
They know we're using VPNs, but they've made peace with the fact that they've controlled what they need to control as far as they think.
Yeah.
And even in your VPNs, they're still tracking you. But what you're talking about is scary. Well, let's move to happier. Have you got happier news with Thingz and XR?
I do.
Good.
And this is a hashtag thanks Google. Google Maps AR is finally being tested and will roll out fairly soon. So we saw this probably last year. We talked about it. There was an ad.
That's why I've got this face. I mean, people can't see. I'm sitting there and going, hold on a second.
This is we talked about it, and there was a guy that used it to get to Starbucks. And basically, when you're walking, it has arrows.
Yeah. I remember chatting about that.
They get you going. So this is now going live, and they've kind of removed the little happy fox that shows you where to go. But the arrows are there with voice directions and also points of interest. So you want to get from here to Starbucks, it's a lot easier than having a map with like dots on it that's not quite accurate to where you are versus actually, because when you're driving in CBD, right, in Sydney, half the time you lose like it because of the satellites, because of the cloud cover, whatever.
Try New York, man.
Oh, yeah.
There you have to stand still to see where you are.
This is like more hyper accurate because it's got you down to the meter, if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually got the arrows going where you are, so it's tracking your footsteps.
And it's taking the phone's movement as opposed to the satellite movement. Yeah, that's clever.
And they're recording everywhere you're going, what you're doing, what time you're doing.
Have you received those emails when it shows your Google timeline for the month, where it shows you where you met, which cities you're in, which restaurants you're in with? And I'm like, really? I've given you all of that information.
Yep.
You should be paying me.
Totally.
I only have one other thing on the news side. Was a couple of weeks back or a week back. I think they turned it on, but it's an Australian company. That's why I wanted to mention it. They're called Redflow. They're a battery storage company.
Okay.
I actually didn't know we had any. That's why I thought Musk came and did what he did. But they've put 10 of their Redflow, I have to read it, ZBM2 zinc bromine flow batteries. Breathe. It stores enough energy for a remote village in northern Thailand. So they've turned on this village in Thailand, obviously rural Thailand.
Okay.
And 10 batteries can basically store and supply energy for this village.
Fantastic.
Now, what does that give them? I assume minimum, like lights and maybe a power point. A power point. But it just also will allow for things like keeping water clean, because you could have a water filtration system running in that. So Aussie tech, going and helping. Yeah, it says here, energy for lighting, refrigeration, and water pumps. So it's to supply minimums, things that we take for granted, but running off just 10 battery cells. And they're fairly big cells. There was a picture of them. I mean, they're not huge, but they're substantial. But it just shows how we're going into the sustainable, reusable energy. And it wasn't Tesla. It was Aussies.
It was Aussies.
Yeah.
So last little bit, MIT launches a pill that when you take the pill, it will expand in your stomach, and it won't digest until you take another pill that will break it down and get it out.
Is that to stop you eating?
It's actually used to deliver small devices into your stomach and to measure what's happening in your stomach. But the offside is that you could take it and staunch the hunger and then take another pill to take it out. Obviously not ready for consumption yet, like human use.
I'm thinking of Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory, and the guy blows up, or Gusta Goop, whatever, and becomes this big, or not, a Violet, whatever. She becomes this huge, big thing because she chewed gum, and it just... But that's where my mind goes. But so that's just to put the little thing inside, so that it can analyze and do what it needs to do. And then when you deflate, it just passes.
Comes out,
Yeah. Recycled... inside bot, only used once. What else you got?
That's enough for now.
Okay,
we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Well, we can wrap up Things with a Z. Can't wait for next week. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Mobile World Congress soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude, something we haven't done for ever and 30 days.
I need to do something because of that. That sucked.
That was. Let me try. There. No, that's our bell. We need a new bell.
The bell's broken. But it doesn't change the excitement.
So you do the intro because you used to always do it the best.
It's time for the A and B split test.
Oh, yeah. So from missing out to getting back in. A and B split test, something we haven't done for a while. This one's actually courtesy of something that Cade wanted that made me go and do it. And I know you've ridden one of them. But it is electric scooters. So he wants an electric scooter. So we went to try them out. In fact, shout out to the guys at, I think it's called Walkabout on Harris Street.
Okay.
There's a little shop there, so you can actually go and try them out. And we were riding them around on the little pavement area there. So we narrowed it down to the Segway Ninebot and the Xiaomi M365. You've ridden one of them, hey?
I have. I'm going to be use my American pronunciation, the Segway.
Segway.
Yeah.
I don't know which. It has to be your way because it's an American company. So what do you say? Segway.
Segway.
Yeah. So there's no J in there. Segway. Segway Ninebot. That's when you rode.
That's it.
Okay. Tell us about the Segway Ninebot, or from what you remember of your experience.
So,
did you stay on it?
I think the most important thing with these devices is that the electric scooter story, and I think it's Lime in the US as well as Uber.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I just quickly interrupt you there?
Yeah.
You mentioned Lime and Uber. These are two companies that have never owned any, not Lime, but Uber's never owned anything. We've always said the biggest car rental company in the world doesn't own. They're investing heavily now with Lime. Because it's hardware, right? They own. Anyway, carry on. Lime, you're right. It's Lime.
So these are coming out, and what's really interesting is that they're built for commuters.
Yes.
So you ride it, you fold it up, you take on whatever public transport you have. I've seen people ride them to and from the entire office to home route.
27K range,
So
right?
I think the ES2 has 27K. ES1 is the one I rode, has 15.5 miles, which is about 23K. So it's a bit less. 12 mile per hour top
What's
speed,
that in
which is about
kilometers?
18.
No, then the 2 is faster than this.
Yeah,
was 27Ks.
Yeah, the 2. So the 2.
28Ks.
So the 2 is, it's always the generation 2 and on that really picks it up. It's just incredible that the device itself for me was fantastic. You turn the handle, it picks up quite fast. It can go up a hill, which was really for me the most interesting one because I went from North Sydney up the hill to St. Leonard's.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's quite a hill.
And I went from that's the place I went. And it was fast enough that I could go at the speed of any bicycle that was driving. It wasn't at car speed, but it wasn't like a nuisance.
In Sydney traffic, it was.
It was in Sydney traffic, yeah. Now, my side note there is 2 points which really frustrate me, and I think there's been a lot of discussion about this in the U.S. One is this is a vehicle. It's a motorized vehicle that likely should not be ridden on the sidewalk. The problem is most people ride them on the sidewalk. Yeah. Pedestrians don't know to look out for it. The second one is if you're going 27 kilometers an hour
and you come off, you're going to be hurt.
Not only you be hurt, but like, where's the helmet?
Yeah.
I've seen more people wearing helmets now than 6 months ago when we started talking about these. Now, but it's still not there, and there's definitely not a mandatory rule on it, which is different for a bicycle.
Yeah,
right.
But that also, that comes down to hygiene. That's one of the things with Lime and the electric bikes and the electric scooters.
Yeah.
I'm not putting a helmet on that some guy with dreadlocks wore before me.
No.
I'm just not doing it.
Totally.
So find me, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. The third point on this one, and this is the Ninebot as well as the Xiaomi, it's not a kid's toy.
No.
It's
I agree.
It is a vehicle.
It's a commuter vehicle.
It's a proper vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, and you see kids on them and stuff, but like I had a circa 2000. I had a fold-up Razor, the first before they became popular, and actually I had the funny accident. I'll tell you offline, but it's absolutely an adult tool.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's why he hasn't got it yet.
Yeah.
We're having that discussion now. Comparing, I rode both. I rode the Xiaomi M365. And why I said we'd make a great A and B split test. Top speeds, pretty much the same. I think it was a kilometer apart. Range, pretty much the same, but the Segway, see I'm learning, you could actually add another battery. Their design's brilliant. The battery sits in the actual handlebar pole. You can add, there's room to add another one. So you can actually extend the range, which I thought was cool. But it will also then double the charging time, which is currently 2 to 3 hours. So from that point of view, speed the same. They both have apps. The Xiaomi, you can actually control more. You can govern the speed. So to your point about a kid's toy, you can govern the speed. Where the big difference comes in, although the Xiaomi was slightly slower, its acceleration seems faster, I might add. It has a disc brake. So first we have a proper handle brake. You'd have to use your foot on the back or a little lever. And it's a disc brake. So you hit the brakes, it brakes, which I felt much happier with. And the other big thing for me were the wheels. Now, I never actually thought about this. They have air wheels, like tube tires.
As opposed to the hard plastic, the
correct.
hard rubber ones, yeah.
Now, when you ride it on the cobbled pavement, which is where people ride these in, because that was the demo we did.
It makes a huge
difference, man.
Massive difference.
So I was thinking to myself, air tires, got to keep them pumped, punctures. But you know what? On cobbles, you don't want those solid tires. Yeah, they are terrible. So you wanted to go with, and that's where the Segway you can't add air tires to. On the Xiaomi, you can actually add hard tires to if you choose to.
Okay.
So if you are going to be driving in smooth areas the whole time, then you'd go that route because you don't have to maintain them.
Totally.
But that for me was the winner, and that brake was amazing because we just said you're doing 27 k's an hour.
Yeah.
I want to brake when I need to.
Now at 27 k's, the only thing to check, and this might lean you towards a Segway, is apparently, according to Wired, a hacker can actually hack the app and brake or speed up the bike, the scooter, without you on it.
Okay, that's just wrong.
Why would you do that? Why would anyone do that? That's...
Yeah, you see, This is the world we live in, though, right? I mean, we're talking about, remember one of our early shows where you'd be able to hit the guy's heart, what do you call the thing to keep you going, pacemaker. You'd be able to write into that and zap him,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So, look, we haven't decided, the price-wise, I'm talking about retail now.
Yeah.
You can obviously get them online and that. Price-wise, it was a $50 difference. The Segway was $50 more. So it's not going to come down to price. It's going to come down to, and this is why I thought for an AB it's a great chat. If you're going to ride in garages, smooth parking areas, that kind of thing, go Segway. It's lighter, it folds up nicer, it actually looks slick because that's what Segway does, and no maintenance on the wheels. If you are going to ride on the roads, on cobbled pathways, things like that, if you are going to be a bit of a speed freak and need to know that you're going to stop, then you do want to look at the Xiaomi. And I said the $50 is neither here nor there. That's not, that should, when you're spending that kind of money, which is like $700, you shouldn't be worrying about the $50 then. Then you should be looking at the clones.
Totally.
So yeah, A and B split. It was actually fun though, man. I rode it. It was really good fun. It was nice to, and they go. I'll stick to my motorbike, but yeah, let's go.
It's now time for XR.
X-rated.
Extreme.
Extended. Well, one day we'll get it in sync. What say you we go VR first this time? I think we did AR first last week.
Sounds like a plan.
I got a couple. You want to kick it off?
You go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to start off with testicles. How about that?
Okay.
Why not? I mean, it can only get better from there, right? So, a new movie has been launched called The Evolution of Testicles.
That sounds like the duck vagina one.
Well, I had to kind of go there, but it was done more about men's health and that we need to talk about it. Male cancer awareness, VR for good. These are the hashtag. The one I love, check your balls. That was the hashtag. There's a famous actor that's the narrator behind it. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, we'll come to Chris O'Dowd, I think it is. Anyway, the movie is shot. If you watch the trailer, it's actually quite fun. There's a hot air balloon that's in the shape of a scrotum, if we're going to keep it medically correct. And they just basically take you into it, like when you walk inside. You know when you blow up a hot air balloon, you can actually walk inside it. You're going in.
Yeah.
And this is inside the sack. And, it's that kind of thing. And then it starts off, the one scene is this elephant, like running away from you through this river. And it's just got the biggest set of gonads you've ever seen in your life. I mean, they're just there. So it's the kind of thing that makes light hard of quite a serious thing. Testicular cancer's not a joke. I mean, I did the Gentleman's Ride last year. You have Movember every year. Just as men, we don't talk about this stuff. Guys, how you doing? Oh, we're fine. We don't. No one ever says, actually, I've got testicular cancer. I don't, thank God. But women are more akin to say, I went for a breast check and I've got breast cancer. And, they're more open about it. And we don't need to die from testicular cancer. We can actually talk about it and do what we need to do. So it's a quirky use of VR. It's not like you didn't need to use VR, but it's just fun. And I think, listening even to what your parents were saying last week, the privacy that VR affords you is what makes using the medium really good. If you're sitting watching this movie on your desktop or on a TV and someone walks into the room, you could have the propensity to feel a bit spare.
Yeah.
Like there's a big set of balls floating on your screen. And what are you looking at? In VR, no one can see what you're seeing. So it does give you the opportunity to actually look or search or find out more. So, yeah, shout out to the guys. Check your balls, VR for good. All good. Evolution of testicles.
Staying with VR.
I thought you were going to say staying with testicles.
No,
but okay.
no, staying with VR. And for me, this is a bit, it's not testicular at all. So one of the hurdles that VR faces and that, Facebook has tried to get across, and Oculus Go has a little bit with Facebook Spaces, is getting multiple people into a VR experience.
Yes.
And so...
and that's hard.
It's hard. Now, I've been and experienced at UNSW a room that has 280 degrees of a flat panel screen around you, and so it's creating a VR room. So you're immersed in it, and
so you're saying like being in a dome,
like in a dome. And then they have that's like a flat room, so the walls around you are VR. There's no ceiling, and then they've got another room which is
like
kind
a
of
HoloLens.
It's like a HoloLens. Another one's a dome, and the dome, kind of like old school planetarium.
Yeah.
Right, where you sit there and you look up.
Yeah.
So Vortex is opening a 2,500 seat dome multiplex.
Where's this? States?
Yeah, in States, in Los Angeles. The main theater is going to be open in Phoenix, Arizona. It's scheduled to open in 2020.
That's now, random. Like anywhere in the States? And it's
I know, Phoenix, right? That doesn't... it's America.
So random.
I just think that if you're going to be building that large of a domed screen, it's already hard enough to make VR content.
Well, that's exactly what's going through my mind. What are you shooting? 20K?
And how are you shooting it, right? And if it's just 360-degree video...
Don't need it.
It's better to give people a headset.
2,500 headsets,
give them Oculus Go's and go and experience it, because you're not having that experience. If you're sitting in a seat in a theater...
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Exactly
you're going to sit again next to you and see the seat underneath you, and you're getting
it's not VR.
It's not VR.
No, it's not VR.
You know, so...
You know, maybe that's why it's in Phoenix, right? Because no one's going to go. And that's actually not fair. Phoenix is not a bad place. But didn't you go to school in Phoenix amongst your schools or uni? Or
I was in Chicago.
No, I know you were there, but didn't you do time in Phoenix?
No.
I use the word doing time because it kind of is like doing time being in Phoenix.
It's not Phoenix, but my cousin Aaron, who is with Toby, I think he lives in Phoenix.
So maybe that's why. Maybe there's some powerhouses down there we don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually going to keep it almost local, as some people say to our cousins down the road, as in New Zealand. The capital city of New Zealand, if you don't know, is Wellington. And the tourist department have done a thing called Well Town. So like Wellington and town, Well Town. And it puts users into a virtual version of Wellington. So you can see the city's scenic vistas and experience its culture. And you can even swim with a whale in the Wellington Harbour. So you can go into the water. I haven't done the experience. But basically, they're hoping that Welltown will help attract visitors and perhaps new residents even. So they're going to use it as a local campaign, and they're going to use it as an international campaign. And I just think it's a nice use of VR. We've often said for tourism, tours, virtual tours, VR does make sense. You can go and see and experience before actually going, you know. So, yeah, it's just nice. It's in our region. So shout out to, I'm assuming, New Zealand tourism, or at least Wellington tourism. And while we're shouting out to our boys down that side, we'll say hey to Grant Highland and Ben down in KBR Digi. So, yeah. Absolutely.
So here's a kind of funny one, and not funny at all, actually.
So is it funny or isn't it funny?
There's a bit that's funny.
Okay.
Kind of like testicular cancer is funny.
It is funny. You have to laugh when you say it.
We've mentioned a local university, I can't remember which one, that did an app about dementia in VR and to give you an experience of dementia. So this is another one. This is being developed specifically with Oculus Rift. And it's a creative agency called Galactig to help spread awareness. It's free download
of
an app that allows you to experience dementia.
Oh, dementia, awareness of dementia. So does it put you into the demented person's mind?
Yeah. So so you're going
Sounds
in.
Sounds like a horror movie.
There's something that you should remember. You look like it's a newspaper and it's a headline. You can't see, it's blurry, or you can't see the date. You're supposed to find your shoes and you can't remember where they were, and you'd set them down over here. So,
and then they're not there.
Yeah, that kind of a thing where you're going in and just.
I see what you mean by funny, but it's obviously a serious topic, right? But it's that's a bit freaky.
The funny, it's not funny, but the random part is that they had to make sure, they're very proud that it was developed in the local Welsh language.
Oh,
so
okay.
it uses Welsh. It's in English and in Welsh.
what do they call, what's Wales in Welsh? It's like Sinfu or something. It's spelled like CYN or whatever. Okay. I'm going to go to one of my loves, which is cars, and Ford. Ford for the last 15, 20 years have really changed and upped their ante. They're doing so many cool things. They've now started doing design in VR. And in fact, I think your mom mentioned Tilt Brush last week.
Yep.
That's where they got the idea. So they said that they're now exploring how to design their cars in VR. And the reason they're doing it, they're actually playing with Gravity Sketch, which is like Tilt Brush.
I've heard about Gravity Sketch.
It's just another version of, like we know, like Beat Saber is the first. They will be better because they'll take everything that Beat Saber is and just make it better to make you want to do it. So Gravity Sketch is a newer version, and I think it's also more for design as opposed to creative.
Yep.
So Tilt Brush, you go in and you be, and you're an artist. I think Gravity Sketch is actually about rendering and using sketching and that. So it lets them draw 3-dimensional cars in VR. So the process, this process now lets you involve 2-dimensional sketches, which are now transferred into 3D, which normally is how you would do it, right? You'd take a 2-dimensional sketch, you'd sit at AutoCAD or whatever tool they use, and you'd make a 3D object, which takes a lot of time. Now, if you're using Gravity Sketch, or maybe they'll develop their own proprietary version, you could actually draw your original sketch in a full VR 3D dimension because you're sitting inside the car. You can walk around inside it. And then not only that, we as consumers would then be able to probably customize or go into our designed cars and see and add. So when you buy a car, you can add chrome or you can add color blue or whatever. You're seeing it in 2D. They're showing you on a computer screen or in a book or something like that. You'd now be able to put the same headset on, go into the environment. This is what they're saying will happen. For now, it's design, right? To design and sketch it up. But imagine now you walk into the showroom of the future, because we know showrooms of the future will be VR or online.
Yeah.
So the salesperson or bot or whatever it is greets you. You bring up the object, the car, and then you start customizing it there in real time. But now you're seeing your custom. So if you're sitting in the seat and you wanted to have a leather feel and you can see what the leather would look like, you can do it. Boom. So for car design, I think it's pretty cool.
And do they give you like an Oculus Go?
Yeah. These guys are doing it themselves. So they're obviously using full-blown either Vive or Oculus, high-end stuff.
To do the design.
But I'm saying in the future, your customer, you'll be at home, you'll have your own headset anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be in a VR world. Ready Player One. So yeah, well done, Ford. But I'd like to participate in that as well. So if you were sitting sketching up a car, like imagine sitting in a meeting where you conceptualizing or ideating the next car, and you just bring everyone inside with you to see what you're drawing. So yeah, VR Ford designs.
Excellent.
That's me on VR. You got anything else?
Not really. We mentioned this last week. I'm just having a hard time finding things that stand out to me anymore. There's a little bit of content. There's, like Wellington.
I have to
New
agree.
Zealand, right? Wellington did Welltown, and so 360.
But it's not new, right? It's just taking what's been done and then making it into their conversational piece.
Yeah, and again, without the proliferation of the hardware, you're not going to get people experiencing it, and you've got to give people a reason to do it. So tourism and going and traveling to Wellington or to the surface of Mars, you go in, you see it in 360, and maybe you get to experience the dark side of the moon, right, with the Chinese newslander.
Turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. But okay, the amount of work it takes to get into the VR headset, open the app, go and experience that for 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Now, if you add, like we've spoken before, a smell. If you add the ability to add taste and
that's
sound,
that company we were talking about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Kickstarter project.
This multi-sensory kind of thing. That's when it starts getting interesting, and especially if you start targeting people that A, have the device, V, have shown interest in certain kinds of content, and C, show the willingness to actually give it a go. You're asking a lot.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I'm just thinking like in the research that we do for the shows, the amount of things that I read that are just same, but different, and then nothing really stands out. This maybe also is why Apple hangs its hat on AR as opposed to VR, because the immersion is just seems to be all the same. Whereas AR, we're still doing new and weird and wonderfuls. In fact, one of the ones I found was it's a company called Edgy Bees. So it's like EDGY Bees. They've got an AR rescue drone. So their AR rescue drone technology adds overlays onto situational awareness. So let's say there's a flood. You can see using the drones, it puts labels on which vehicle is going to save people, where the ambulances are going. That's a good use of both drone technology and augmented reality, because you now, as the command center or the crisis controller, you can see where your troops are, where they're deployed. Even worse, let's say an ambulance does rescue someone from a scene and then breaks down or gets hit by the flood. You now know you've just lost an emergency vehicle. So any future emergencies or plans that you have to do in that next hour, that vehicle's offline.
And you know where it's at.
Correct. So it's just overlaying the information on top of what's actually happening that you could see from a helicopter or a drone. Now it's adding that extra layer. That's a little bit different. They've added something to it.
So the question I would have is, are the guys at Magic Leap paying attention to companies like this? Are they looking at the same news sources that we have and saying, okay, here's some guys that have a perfect Iron Man style, holographic system where I could actually be in a space, see a map, visually use gesture to actually manage the activity happening?
Well, the answer to that's no, right? Because that's the problem. They're all working in their own little. Totally. They're all working in their own little worlds. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Have you got any AR ones? Because I got one more AR one, which is actually not really what is AR, but this one you like based on what you were saying with the maps.
Yep.
Last week with Google AR. So Bluetooth's governing body. Okay. So the official Bluetooth governing body has announced that it's bringing enhanced location services to supported devices, and what that means is that for AR devices, indoor navigation and AR experiences can rely on the landmarks as opposed to the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and 3G signals that don't work indoors.
Okay.
So by enhancing, because of beacons that are floating around everywhere and all the other connected devices, by amplifying or changing whatever, so maybe this is Bluetooth 6, right? Because we're in 5. You could now use an AR experience indoor. So take Google's AR for maps outdoors and go back to in-store directional. We proposed this to people before when we were talking about retail.
Yeah.
Remember the Dave Jones and that kind of stuff, you're saying you could use voice and AR and logos and arrows. They're saying that they're working on it now as well, because the AR overlay will read the environment, the Bluetooth will correlate and then give you what you need.
Who's this from?
From the actual Bluetooth governing body. So this is what they're working on. So they're obviously changing the way the chipset and protocol will work on Bluetooth going forward.
Now, maybe I'm missing something, but why wouldn't Google mix Lens and Waze and do the same thing?
I think they would, and this would help support it, because it's going to give you, because Google, being software, right, still needs connectivity. And when you're inside a shopping center, it's not there. There's no satellite positioning.
Sure.
So now they're saying, instead of trying to rely on 4G or 3G or 5G, whichever G you want, just using Bluetooth.
Right.
So the Bluetooth protocol is on in the phone. It pings off its beacons, sees what it is, using AR layers on top of it, confirms what it's seeing.
Well, I'm saying plug into Waze and ping off each other's phones.
100%. But now Google and Waze would be able to do that indoors using this new Bluetooth protocol.
Yeah.
That's I think where it's going. Because remember, this is the governing body. This is not device or software centric.
Totally.
This is just the protocol itself.
But you could theoretically use low-level Wi-Fi.
You can, and they do.
Right.
But also the problem with low-level Wi-Fi is that when you are, what's the word? Contention. When lots of people on it, your delays and your signals and your positioning goes weak because it's under contention. It's, you know what? It's not a perfect. That's what 5G is supposed to solve, actually.
Dude.
But it's going to fry us while it's doing it.
Yeah.
So
watch out for 5G.
yeah, in fact, there's something to see what's going to come out of Mobile World Congress.
Yeah.
Because that's going to have to be a huge discussion. I'm finished. I have no more. I'm Bluetoothed out. I'm AR'd out. I'm VR'd out. I'm out.
That's it for me. I think MWC is going to give us the real showstopper. Coming up soon.
Yep. 2 more sleeps till it ends. Done. Right, man. Well, are we done?
We are done.
Well,
Locked and loaded.
till next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.
Thanks for listening to our latest episode of the Technology Show. Remember, for more episodes, hop onto eaglewavesradio.com.au, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Catch you next time.